Hey everybody, Flip and Danny here, founders of the Freedom Real Estate Group family of companies, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, which is called
Freedom Through Passive Income.
That's right, and welcome to another episode, and this is Motivational Monday. You define your life.
Yeah, I like this one because it talks about really 2022 for us. We've always been on a little bit of a race to kind of build what we've been building, and as we built the sixth company and gone on this journey of freedom through passive income, we started to slow down a little bit and be very, very intentional about what we're doing, what we're thinking, how it's happening and manifesting in our lives. And I think that there's a lot of lessons that I've learned through it, because sometimes when you're going so fast, you don't take the time to pause and make sure it's exactly the right path that you want to go down. Now, I don't believe for a second that any of the paths we went down isn't one that we would have chosen. I think we might have done it differently though. If we would just slowed down and said, okay, I know I want to go down this path, but how do I want to go down it? Do I want to go down, this path and structure it this way? And maybe there would have just been more thought and intention into what we did instead of, rolling. But as we've been able to slow down, we have gotten a lot more intentional. And part of that is your ability to listen to others to get feedback, but not necessarily allow them to dictate who you are and what you do, right? It's easy to be influenced by others, especially if they're more successful than you. It's easy to let negative thoughts and negative conversations come into your head because other people are saying you can or cannot do something, or that's not going to work, or I have a better idea or a better way. At some point in time, you have to say, and you and I have said this multiple times, the older we get, the easier this becomes.
Yep.
You just have to dismiss absolutely everybody around you and say to yourself, the only person that matters and the only opinion that matters is mine. So I get to listen to other people, to gain their insights, learn from their experience and their knowledge. But ultimately, that is this circle of stuff around me, and I've got a bubble around me in which I'm going to take what I want, but my ultimate decision and opinion is all I care about. And whether they like what I'm doing or agree with what I'm doing does not freaking matter, because I'm doing it because it makes me happy, and their opinion is not going to ruin my happiness.
That's right.
And I think that's a lesson that's hard to do until you start to grow up a little bit, right? You start to age a little bit and get more confident in who you are as a person. Because if you're not confident in who you are as a person, it's very hard to not let other people's opinions matter. So I don't know if you've got some, thoughts that you want to share on this.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said is so it's so true. And I mean, I went through a lot of this myself. Listening to what everyone said. Everyone else's opinion mattered. And I wasn't listening to myself.
Yeah.
And I was always questioning what I was doing, but everyone else said that's what you should do, and it wasn't. It was. And I wasn't thinking of the only opinion that matters is yours. And I went through many years where I didn't have an opinion, so I was just doing what everyone else, what everyone else wanted me to do, or what everyone else thought was the thing to do.
That's interesting that you didn't have an opinion, right? You didn't take the time to maybe sit down and figure out what you wanted, or you were at a stage in life where you honestly just didn't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was all loosey-goosey.
I think that happens as you grow up, right? You're not sure exactly what path to take, and you ultimately maybe need to try different things in order to go, didn't like that. I sort of like this, but maybe not this part of it. And so you ultimately start figuring out. So this is certainly a lesson that's easier to apply the older you get, but that doesn't mean that if you're young that you shouldn't be trying to apply it immediately. And I like this line that I wrote down here. Your willingness to be affected by other people's words hands them your power, right?
Yep.
So if Flip has an opinion about me that's negative and I'm affected by his opinion, I've just given him power over me, right? Because he was allowed to say something that affected how I felt. And I shouldn't. You know, we all do. We all have people we care about so much that absolutely it affects us. But you are handing them that power, right? You're giving them power over you by being affected by what they say. So there are people in my life that I do value very much, but sometimes when they say something and I'm just like learning this, right, and practicing it, they'll say something and you're like, I don't even care that he thinks that. It doesn't even matter to me because I don't agree with him, and therefore it affects me in no way, shape, or form. I'm going to keep on going down where my heart and my gut and my instincts and my experience, my knowledge, my path tells me to go. This is the right way. It might not be for him, and he might have his own opinion about it, but I'm not going to let it affect me. So handing people your power, if you view it that way, you'll start taking it a lot more seriously. That you just got something changed in your day, something changed in your in who you are as a person, how you feel, how you come across, your confidence, anything like that. And once you realize that you gave somebody that power over you, it'll kind of feel offensive, right? That, I allowed them to do that to me. Why would I do that?
Right.
Like, I have enough pride and respect for myself that I would never let anybody affect me like that. And sometimes you just have to view it as, I just gave them that power, to understand that you respect yourself more than allowing them to have that influence. So I think that that's powerful.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to read this?
Yeah.
Can you read my writing?
Well, we'll find out. Once you decide to follow your heart on your path of joy and choose every word and thought you allow to enter your brain, every feeling that moves through your body, and every action you take, your life will change forever.
Yes, it is absolutely true. So it's your decision. Everything you do is your decision. So whether it's words, whether it's feelings, whether it's action, as long as it's yours and yours alone, then your life will begin to change because you are taking that power and you're reserving it for you and you alone. And it's an amazing feeling to stop, giving people that power over you. And at the very end, I wrote Dare to Imagine.
Yep.
And some of this was from a dear friend of mine on Facebook that I saw something that she was posting, and she's gone through this journey over the past of like 2 or 3 years. And the people that follow her at this stage, because she is living this life, truly, is amazing. And she's changing people's lives because she's teaching people, how to make sure that you are centered around who you are, and every single thing that comes out of your mouth is something very, very intentional and not harmful to who you are and what you think and how you feel. So at the end of her post, she wrote, Dare to Imagine. I was like, oh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Imagine who I want to be and then start intentionally going forward to that. And I think that we've truly kind of picked that up here in 2023 in a very stronger sense, as we've slowed down and really started to focus on what really matters to us in the Six Company, and that building those passive income stream and helping other investors do the exact same thing so they can get there sooner than we did. And then it also takes care of our team and our families, and so much has blossomed here in 2022. I thought this is a perfect motivational Monday piece to say, hey, this is something real to us, and it's something that we see happening and coming to fruition even now in our lives. And it can impact you the exact same way. Because if you're listening, you're on the same journey as we are. And, it matters what you think, what you feel, what you do, all the actions that you take. And that's what we're here to help you with. And I hope it meant something to you as much as it meant to us.
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you're heading on over to our website, freedomcapitalinvestments.com, to join the investor club. Make sure you're talking to Ben and or CJ to find out about all the stuff we've got going on here at the end of this year and already stuff going on in 2023. But we like to end all our episodes with
Invest smart.
Live happy.
Bye, everybody.
Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions and information on the show are not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit and loss.